In the past few weeks, Edo State has been in the news for the wrong reasons. Starting from the wrong celebration of the 60th birthday celebration of the governor to the recent events of the local government and councillorship election in this state. In January this year, the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission came out with a program for the conduct of local government election in Edo State. Going by their program, 20th of April 2013 ought to have had the local government election in Edo State. It is sad that it has taken Adams Oshiomhole 5 years in office to conduct local government election. If after 5 years, Oshiomhole could not come up with a credible election, then it is obvious Adams Oshiomhole is a man who is not interested in grassroots democracy.
From what we have heard so far, and from what has been seen by so many, there seems to have been a monumental error somewhere that seemed to have really made today a sad day in terms of the conduct of elections in Edo State. This is sad with the backdrop knowledge of what has been happening in recent times with elections. And we're almost beginning to start singing Uhuru, because with the July 14th elections, there was a major reduction in terms of the hiccups and problems with elections. But that seemed to have come out so glaringly today, to the extent that very close to where things were supposed to be happening, they couldn't happen. Again, because of this issue of logistics.
The conduct of today's local government elections, 20th of April 2013, has been woefully disappointing. Not only to the people of Edo State, but to Nigerians home and abroad. A time like this, that we call in history a turning point, that history failed to turn. All the anticipations that Edo State will set a kind of benchmark for others to emulate collapse like pack of cards. Very unfortunate.
Starting from the very process of distributing materials from ETSEC headquarters, it was clear that they were not ready to conduct any election. From the excuse that materials were not ready, to the delay of delivering wrong voting materials to the various local government areas.
These materials, we waited for this material throughout yesterday, and the man told us the material was the way. We finally got the materials here by 5:30 this morning. And you can know that Edo State is not just Benin. We have people from Akoko Edo, people from Ofunama on 1 East, and accreditation is supposed to start by 8 o'clock. And as it's just to 8 now, we are still distributing material here. I'm already smelling a dead rat here, and we are not seeing any time.
As a politician and as a person, I'm not happy with the development that took place here. They started yesterday telling us that a flight is beginning to Benin. We waited till 2. They said they are going to supply the materials before evening. We waited till this morning. The flight that couldn't land 6 o'clock, we were able to land at 5 o'clock this morning. Now they are distributing materials at 8. When will these materials get to a place like Akoko Edo, Onwa East, all these further areas of your southwest, of your northeast, Ipobaoka in the riverine areas? When will these materials get there today?
We are here for the election, but unfortunate enough, till now we have not gotten the materials. They only brought the ballot paper, a result sheet. And by law, when you are coming with a ballot paper, it's supposed to have come with result sheet. If you write an exam, you must get the result. Today, we are ready to write an exam. We are expecting results. Yes. But presently, we don't have the result sheet. Therefore, we have been asking. Oshiomhole have not provided the documents completely. And we have been hearing he wants to rig the election. And we have stand. And he made the proposal of this 1 man, 1 vote. Today we are here for 1 man, 1 vote. So we expect Oshiomhole to release all the voting materials so that what he proposed will go according. 1 man, 1 vote.
When material came, they did not come with result. There's no result sheet. We are just do this election, do this voting. There's no result sheet. We don't know where to write this result after this election. We are complaining since morning. Where is the result sheet? May they start this election before now. They say they should not start. The result sheet will come. Till now, we have not seen the result sheet. We are just doing ordinary election here.
The material they brought to us, was it for the unit? That is Unit 5. So they now wait and check Unit 4. They now see that they touched the materials.
We said we don't want election for today because the time is gone. Person, most of us, we live in very, very far places from this local government. Traveling here to my place will take me an hour, 30 minutes before I will use boat and transport the electoral material to my place. I think the day is gone, so we don't want election. So let them face the election another day.
Now, this Okada Grammar School, up to now, the material is not yet here.
I'm from Iguamo here. So we have been here since 8 o'clock this morning, waiting for the people to come. They said, okay, the ballot paper is yet to bring to this place.
It's almost 4 now. We have been waiting the election material. We have not seen it. And they told us that they dispatched it at Okada. We are waiting. We do not see the election material.
We have been waiting for the materials. The law enforcement agency are here. The SCEC officials are here, but they didn't come with materials to vote. And we are tired of staying. This election here should be cancelled.
We don't see them. They never come, no paper.
Yeah, my name is Adejo from Muhe Ward. I'm from Ugbowe, Unit 4. The election should be cancelled because there's no material yet.
Now we there, we not see valid paper, we never see people. Now they say that they Muhe Ward, we never see them now, we not see anybody for here. And people want verse come out and may they just cancel the election.
To crown it all, if you assess the situation here now, I've observed that thugs were recruited from other places to Ovia Northeast, from other places to River. If you watch, many of these people are not from Ovia Northeast. And if we profess one man, one vote, we should respect that slogan.
Then we were also told that they want to do accreditation without result. I strongly go against it. I said it has never happened. I have been in this business for long. So now we have to say no result sheet, no accreditation, no election.
In fact, we are surprised because this is the first election Governor Oshiomhole will be conducting in the past 5 years, and it has taken him 5 years to conduct this charade of an election. So we are terribly surprised and embarrassed because the good record of Mr. President in electioneering in this country has been applauded worldwide. But what we are witnessing today is a big minus to that scorecard of Nigeria as a nation in terms of conducting free and fair election and credible election.
You have just heard the opinions of a cross-section of voters from across Edo State. One thing is clear. Voting materials were withheld by ETSEC, maybe under instruction from the state government. When some materials were finally released, senior government officials were handed these materials and they decided where and how these materials are to be used.
They are going to deputy governor house. We don't know what they want to do there. Why is an ACN deputy?
At Oshiomhole, the deputy governor of the state came on air to confirm that his personal car was used to convey electoral materials to the various wards in his local government, and they were also taking the presiding officers along when they were attacked and the car was destroyed.
Today, for him to damage a vehicle, my own vehicle, the bus, conveying our own people from the world headquarters, bringing electoral materials, I think he has finally nailed his own coffin.
When has it become the duty of the deputy governor to dispatch electoral materials in his local government?
Number one, the people may have anticipated some kind of hijacking of electoral material by the person of the deputy governor who has openly said his boss, his people in the vehicle.
And carry materials.
An unknown destination.
Is he a member?
And he himself also said that those who did it, they have nailed their own coffin, which means he's going to fight back violently. That is wrong. That is not the way to behave. That is not the way to behave as a politician, as a leader. He's number 2 in Edo State. It can't be that kind of.
And it raises a lot of suspicion.
And it has raised the suspicion that
something is fishy.
He has attempted to do something bad, and he was stopped.
So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that a number 2 man will pick a boss. Well, I have no problem with that. Government officials can be in the boss. But where I have the problem, where I'm very, very worried, for electoral materials to be in the boss of the number 2 man of the state, I mean, it's appalling. It's appalling. It means something is wrong somewhere. And when people start to raise suspicion about a particular party being involved in election, it is so obvious that something is wrong.
Where voters stood their ground and refused the carting away of materials by senior government officials, brute force was used. In the same vein, the governor's own local government, Esako West in Auchi, election took place only in the governor's ward, and he went physically to retrieve electoral materials at the council hall. This packed up the protest by members of the public who were watching the ugly development. It's obvious that ETSEC was not in control of the election process. From the onset, ETSEC was given a list of ACN members to use as presiding officers, polling clerk, and electoral officers.
A few days ago, the chairman of ETSEC admitted that in 3 local government areas, he mentioned Wonde, Esa Central, and Ovia Northeast, they were able to detect that some of the officials that they had hired had some kind of partisan relationship, and therefore they were dropped. But today it was obvious from reports, media reports, that talks were mobilized from different parts of the country or from to the state to other local government areas. To do what? And
to cause mayhem?
I don't know. But all of this would have been avoided if ETSEC has done its homework, organized its men, organized its materials. The failure to do this is what has brought us to these shattered dreams that we thought would be the benchmark for Edo State. Finally, sir, concerning the electorate, if media reports are anything to go by, they are calling for cancellation of the elections. As at July 14th, 2012, 4 p.m., 90% of the results from the entire state were already available. Those who collected results at different units, at different wards, different local governments, they all tallied with what the state also announced. As at now, to 10, there is not a single result released. And they are saying, look, what has happened is a sham, disgraceful, sad, unexpected in this time, and therefore it should be cancelled.
The democracy process under APC is under threat, because if the members of ACN that are participating in this current local government election are the same people we expect to participate in the APC process and are expected to go through congresses, through conventions, to have candidates to emanate, to contest for other public elections, then we have a problem. Then the internal democracy is in trouble.
It is sad that the people preaching one man, one vote could not conduct a local government election in their state. In the same vein, for a man that could not allow party primaries to throw up candidates in his own party for the election, such man cannot guarantee a free and fair election to other political parties.
So for the chairman of EDSEC and his team, they were trying to assure, I believe, everybody of the credibility of what they were doing, to say, look, these materials were not done here. The mentality I'm talking about, once you say it was done in London or in UK, outside, then we start believing that, yes, these are authentic materials. And in the process, exactly. Almost anything, we are talking of importation. So at the end of the day, they did not factor in that what the delays or whatever were going to happen. But this is a place, like Zewere was saying, where we have been conducting JAMB exams, we have been conducting WAEC and many of those things, and these things come in. You put them in the central bank of that is in Nigeria here, that is in Benin or different states, and the next morning everybody is out to go and distribute these things. I believe that they should have made sure that whatever was going to happen, even if it's a week or some 2 days before, like Osalo was saying, this thing should have been in place, not to wait. From what we heard from the Comrade governor that is watching him, he said that he heard also that the flight could not come because there is no landing night time in Benin. So they had to use the road. Can you imagine what we were trying to protect, to be sure they were so sensitive? You were not taking them through the Okada roads and all of those things. That is why we feel sad that things that even in the last governorship election in our state, the governor was complaining about, INEC was on the slab for all the errors. I dare say that INEC did not do as bad as we have seen today. Because by about this, that 2 o'clock, most elections were going on in the state in July, that is in July. But look at what we've seen today. That at 4 o'clock, different locations, these things were not available. I don't know the level of security that was provided to the state, because that's another issue. Because all of a sudden, the snatching of materials, we're beginning to hear that. Vehicles being hijacked, we're beginning to hear that. And these were things we thought had already been confined to the dustbins of history. But it seems that they are still very much alive. So what I'm saying in essence, in terms of these preparations and all, is that what happened today, the reason given, that it was because materials did not arrive early. So they came around 5 in the morning. So they had to start shifting. That could have still been okay. But for Ikpobanka and Oredo, the position is that the materials for councillorship elections were not there.
They were not
How
there.
could somebody have produced items and you will not do a checklist of whether what they ordered from you had come or not? What we are hearing today is a case of going for a wedding. You ordered for your wedding suit. Somebody sent you a jacket without a trouser. That's what has happened. Because for them to have brought here the materials for chairmanship, but they forgot the materials for this, I think is something that at this, for only one state, not the whole of Nigeria, I think it's embarrassing.
European firms,
yes,
when they're under a contract to work,
yes,
there's always an agreement,
yes,
and they always stand by that agreement. So I'm sure that HCF would have entered into an agreement with this printing firm in the UK to deliver on a particular date.
In late period.
Why is it that it was not delivered before now?
Precisely.
That is the question. And that is why now we call to question the credibility of the chairman of ETSEC.
You see, we have the mint there who print our currency.
Yes.
The currency is more of an important document.
Because that's legal tender.
Yes, a legal tender as compared to electoral materials. So I think it's a waste of foreign exchange. And when our hard currency is being exported abroad and wasted. So I would have expected that if this thing was printed in Abuja or Lagos, as the case may be, then they can easily be monitored. A day or 2 days to the time, like he said, these things can be transferred to, transported to Central Bank of Nigeria and other designated banks, so that the following morning, as early as possible, they can go to Central Bank and move these materials. We wouldn't have been experiencing this type of thing. If INEC, as big as it is at national level, they are conducting election across the states of the federation, and we are not saying they were perfect, but at least these hiccups, these serious hiccups we experienced today wouldn't have been the case. So I think somebody somewhere does not know what is.
Was it ETSEC that awarded the contract of printing materials? Are they really independent, as we are made to believe? Will ETSEC come out with the reason why they failed to deliver in their official responsibility of conducting local government elections in Edo State?
Somebody who is not able to act on his own, but being manipulated from somewhere to do something. Let us find out who are those that have been manipulating him. For example, sir, let us assume the materials came 5 o'clock today. Early
morning, yes.
The early morning. And 4 o'clock, some areas, no electoral materials. What kind of incompetence is that? It's very sad. And I want to suggest and agree with those who are also thinking along the same way that the exercise of today should be totally cancelled. Because there are protests, there are complaints everywhere. And it doesn't make sense to still keep faith with what has happened today. The electorate, they have lost faith with what has happened today, and I'm sure and I'm convinced that everyone is waiting for a constellation by tomorrow.
From the above facts, it is obvious that this election is a total sham. The right thing to do is for ETSEC to come up with a new date for the conduct of a credible local government election in Edo State.
The honorable thing to do at this stage, rather than the statements that came from the chairman at a time, that we are not going to reconduct elections in certain areas as long as they took place in certain, is for them to have what we call a clinical evaluation of what occurred today, and to be honorable for them to cancel everything if it's really clear. Because apart from 1 or 2, I believe the reports coming in from EGO, local government area, shows that it seems that elections took place in that area, started early, results were counted, results released and all. But most other areas, as far as Akoko Edo, Isako, some of those many others, as we already now know, Bobauka, Ego, and of course Oredo, these things were not there. And if they were not there, yes, it's even going to be the problem of how are you going to now segregate those areas for special elections? You get what I'm saying?
Now,
so that's why we say there should be clear evaluation.
Yes.
We can be courageous enough to say we missed it. Yes. Let's reorganize.
Yes. Initially, I was saying, my earlier submission, I was saying that, hey, when Edo State governorship election took place, other states were queuing in. In fact, political analysts were saying, hey, take a cue from Edo State. So I would expect that we build on that good omen, and move forward. All the instruments of election were there. The enlightenment were there. In fact, if you look at the various polling stations today, you saw, individuals, even people who are not politicians, they were concerned about the conduct of the election. They were there and they were ready to cast their vote. And generally, from what we have heard, the election was not well conducted outside the government. So I would suggest that in view of all this, taking the totality of everything into consideration, the entire election should be cancelled.
Yes.
And the Electoral Commission and the stakeholders, the various representatives of the political, they should now sit down, articulate what happened and how what happened could be prevented.
prevented in future election. Thursday here is just too close. They should sit down and do something more serious.
In particular, Ondo State.
Yes.
With Akin Omoboriowo, we should be careful not to have a repeat of that incident in Edo State, because people are already complaining. Elections did not hold. We are going to announce results. It may be difficult and terrible for Edo State to contain the response, violent in any way, that may accompany whatever ICEC intends to do in the next days, as from tomorrow. They should be careful. The governor, if he's watching, his aides, if they are watching, they should carefully call the chairman to order and cancel to this election.
Yes.
They should do that in the interest of our people, in the interest of peace, in the interest of human beings, our lives.
And in the interest of democracy.
In the interest of democracy.
I was to be my law office reading my law report, but I came here to vote, and this device was a sham. Look at policemen have been giving money. Many of them, it was a sham. The man should resign.
Hey!